Right. Good morning, guys. This is December 11th, 2025. This is 2 weeks late for our monthly momentum call, and I apologize for that. Thanksgiving and Christmas happen to both fall on Thursdays this year, so that's just irregular. But yeah, first for Thanksgiving. Next time was my having my kids to myself, and this time window was definitely not available. So thanks for pushing a couple weeks. And yeah, we're happy to happy to have you guys. Um, so honestly, another housekeeping, I will probably have another call next week because the week after that is Christmas. So we're only 2 weeks down from Christmas, 2 weeks out from Thanksgiving. It's getting really weird that they're 28 days apart. So as usual, so that's a little housekeeping things here. As usual, I want to have a little bit of a moment to give some shout outs to the group. Um, just first one is shout out to Mark. Happy to have you back. Glad to see some workouts getting logged. Continue with the rucks. Hope you can continue to find ways to make that happen as we're in the Christmas and busy season here. I'm sure loading up the rucksack going outside is harder in the snow and the cold. Then also just shout out to Rachel and John. Continue to whether they're choosing the move option, they're choosing the flex option, they're choosing the load option. That you guys are getting things done. You guys are choosing to work out either side by side in the morning or you're doing it later in the day. Just really proud of you guys and for what I continue to see. Also, welcome back, or well, welcome back. Like glad to see Jordan getting some workouts logged again as well. Some at least some walks in, and I'm sure I know the workouts are coming. So you mentioned that to me privately. So, but those are those shout outs. Trying to think of any other housekeeping notes I have. Just general ones I have to call up and I'll say it. We have we have programming I think running through set the program you're on is set to kind of lapse in a few weeks. I will be working on that and New Year's one next week. So you'll see that it's not going to end in the new year. It's going to keep going. We also send out a feedback form here soon about, hey, what ideas do you have for how to change this group? What do you like? What's going well? What would you like to have more of, less of, grow in, etc. Yeah, what do you have? Love to know that as we kind of head into the end of this year, that first 7 months of this are done. So thank you guys remarkably for that. Really been proud and impressed to see the dedication you guys have put forth to your fitness, to your health and fitness. And it's been really encouraging to see that, really empowering to see that. And yeah, very proud of you guys for doing that. And how you guys support each other. I think that's one of the coolest things I love to see. Let's see the high five, the clap, the party emoji, whatever for the people to do their workouts or just the questions you guys have asked and how each other have responded. So um, I don't have much else to say on the kind of housekeeping note here. I think on the transition note here, like the seasonal note, what I kind of want to talk about today was like working out in this um, like holiday season in this December, Thanksgiving, Christmas kind of time. So we're gonna hit January, and whether your resolution or not, it just changes. The year changes, and um, everything changes. Um, so sorry, my daughter just woke up and I'm distracted by that in my head. No, a sip of coffee, and then we'll dive into talking about. We're diving into talking about how to maintain fitness in this time. So, we got Christmas parties, we got Christmas and um, Christmas events. You got travel going on here. Sometimes you got just really irregular schedules. So just kind of rewind a very basic like planning around this thing as far as like how do you make sure you stay active at this time. Um, so I'll probably just repeat things I've said before, but I think sometimes part of hearing like or getting grasping things and make sure things happen is going to be related to like okay, remind me again of the basics. So you guys are all really you guys are in this group. You already implement a lot of these things on your own. So some of this might be relevant, some of it might not be. But I'd say like as you head into a week, we have three workouts we're trying to accomplish. Look at that week ahead of you and say where would those fit. And this goes for whether you're traveling. This goes for um, whether you're at home. Uh, whether you got parties different nights, etc. Christmas events going on. So um, look at that week ahead of you and say where can these things fit? Like do they fit? And if they do fit, if the answer is yes, that then where and start kind of you don't actually whether you are a calendar labeler and you really put them in there and you actually schedule it in there or not, or you just kind of know this is my time to do it. I'm a creature of habit. If I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, I'm going to work out. Um, like or if I make sure that once the kids are off wherever, or I can do this or over lunch or do it at the end of the workday, wherever it fits. You know your schedule, so where to fit. When there are those evening events, we're moving into like the having traveling out of state, perhaps having people coming to town or only coming to town. Um, how you kind of work around on that one, right? I think like that's where a couple of things come in handy if you want to. Now I'm gonna assume we're gonna operate here on the assumption that you want to try to maintain this as the season grows. If the best thing for you is to take 7 days off because this you rest better, you'll come back recharged better. This you guys have all had bouts of that from illness, from sickness, from stress, from travel, etc. And you bounce back, and you're here today, and you're doing great. So I'm not necessarily saying the only option before you is you must continue doing 3 days a week of workouts through the Christmas season. However, I'm gonna provide the opportunity to do that, and I want to talk about how you can do that. Because like you also need to adjust best for what you need, and your body needs. That will remind you that part of that need is that your body does need regular activity in like in the big zoomed out view. It needs to have that in there, so you can kind of discuss how you get that in there. Also, very aware of the stains on my shirt. I don't even know what they're from. Well, you guys don't care. Um, so how would you do that? So you look at the week, you find 3 windows of time that can work. Let's just look. Say it's one of those weeks of a Christmas party or two, or it's the week in that Christmas New Year's phase where you're traveling, you're hosting, you're whatever, you're really busy, right? Um, one option is just to say, can I find 3 windows of time? And if you can, then great. Put them on there. Tell people around you. Tell a significant other. Tell a family member who's going through that season with you. That hey, my plan is to do this, and this day. This is the time I want to do it. I want to work out. I want to do it these days. I want to work out. I want to go for a walk at these times. Tell them in advance because one, now they know. So like if there's anything, in our relationships we have, and most times we need to be doing things together with people, working together on various things, and or like maybe one of you's got to be in the house at all times with kids, dog, whatever. Just so you know, oh, I'm going to be, going for a walk. So I'm going to be going um, to the basement gym for a little while at this time. That's what I want to do. So bring the other person into it, just because a lot of times these people are doing it with us, or they're helping empower us to do this, just because they're encouraging us. They know it's a priority of ours, and sometimes it's telling someone else now. I forget what this is called. It's like I think the ADHD term, and I probably have ADHD. Not probably. I know I have at least ADD. But I think it's a term called body doubling, and it could be the wrong term. The premise is that you tell somebody else you're going to do something, and you do it with them around. And then because you did that, like you're more likely to do the thing that you're like putting off. So it's like I wrote a Christmas letter. Um, and it would have been probably easier if I said, someone, hey, write my Christmas letter this day. And like I was in the same room as it happened, just to hold me accountable to doing it. They don't have to be like asking me, just like, hey, we're going to do it this time, this day. That helps me get things done. Um, or I have a client in person who has this, and he mentioned that like hiring me as his trainer was his strategy to make sure he did that, as well as offloaded the responsibility of having to come up with the idea himself. So it's just a little power. Not so you guys have ADD or ADHD or anywhere on that kind of attention deficit spectrum, but telling somebody else brings them into, and like let's just say it's like an on-town relative who's staying with you or going to come over that like later that day or whatever. You're saying, hey, I'm gonna work out in the morning. Got to make sure I get that done. Then I'm, off the races with the rest of the day. Or you're traveling and you're staying somewhere else, telling you, and you wanted to work out. The move option is there. Maybe someone in your family has some weights you can use. Maybe there's a nearby gym you want to go to if you want to go all out. Whatever. Pick your approach there. The move option is always there. You just tell them, hey, I'm planning to work out tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, whatever. Probably, I'm gonna guess most of these fall in the morning because it's hard to work out when you're traveling for a holiday in the evenings because that's when you're hanging out with people. Um, so it'd be the morning most likely, just assumption there. And telling that person, now you're not like clandestinely waking up trying to find where you can work out and like someone walks out and goes, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just doing my work. If you told them ahead of time, you told them what's happening, they know to expect it. They might be able to say, hey, do you need like I have like an old yoga mat? Could you out? Do you want that? Like that kind of stuff happens then. Um, it's a lot less weird than you think. Like fitness and working out is just a really whether they do it or not, whether it's in your family or not, it's they at least know that culturally many people do this. So not a huge concern. You might be the weird person in your family, you might not be. But either way, that doesn't matter because you're doing something really good for your body and your health. Um, so yeah, just telling somebody else, making that plan, setting the alarm, having the clothes packed, those things also matter too. If you're going to be, if you're, let's just say you're out of state or out of town doing this. Um, so that'd be uh, one's helpful thing. Make the plan, then tell the other person, while you're like, tell the other people you need to that you're going to do it. And just remember, working out is a normal, excellent thing to do. I've talked to people who like, their families, etc., wouldn't. They make some snide comments that are less than encouraging about the fact that you take care of your body with working out. That's a whole other conversation. Um, um, in short to that one, there's a broader thing likely that person is actually dealing with, um, and what you're doing to take care of your health doesn't. You just keep going. You just keep doing it. How they respond to that, just let them respond that way. Confront it if you want to. I'm not your therapist. Families are tough. But yeah, make the plan, lay the steps in motion, tell somebody else what you need in order to make that happen. Tell the significant other, tell the family member you're staying with, and then work out in your living room at 7 tomorrow morning, whatever, however that goes. Um, and just always be respectful on that too. If you're at someone else's home, how can you do it quietly? How can you do it? Times are good, etc. And maybe there's nothing that works. Okay. You could suggest, hey, can we go on a walk? You wake up and go on a walk. You may not like the cold right now. Maybe you do. I was out the other night and I was shoveling. I was like, wow, this is just so silent and quiet. I don't know if you're traveling somewhere warm that has no snow. That's a little different scenario. Well, then you definitely want to get outside because you're not in -2 degrees. Um, so, but yeah, that's another premise is you can still go for a walk. Families, I don't know, we go outside with our kids on these holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas and just go outside. We were able to sled on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. My kids went outside on Thanksgiving too, and some So my aunt went outside with them. One of my cousins went out. A couple of cousins and I went with them. I mean, they are our kids as well. Like this, it's cool to see that people are like, oh, we're going outside today. It's kids want to play, but we're going outside too. And suggesting a family walk at a certain point can never be a bad idea. Um, or sledding, just going down a hill, plenty of activity. Another thing here is just like remember that the workouts don't need to necessarily be the length that they always are. So when you're working out in your own house, so let's say the barrier to getting this done and say, well, I know that usually takes a half an hour, it takes 40 minutes, it takes me getting dressed to getting the shower and the workout in between that. Work it like getting dressed, warming up, working out, done. And some of these are conditioning days that you don't know how long they're last. Some of these are squat or heavy days, you don't know how long they're gonna last. Very fair. You guys should have a decent ballpark now after doing this for like, almost 8 months. That like how long does this take you? And that's or some of you don't done that long. Some of you are much more newer to the group. So the seasoned veterans among you know kind of this approach and how long to expect some of these to take. I'm probably usually billing for like 25 minutes at the lowest end to 40 to 45 at the longest. So 30 to 35 is probably the sweet spot there. So you guys are super efficient and get done faster. So another thing to remember is like you guys can take that workout and modify it how you need to fit your time constraints. Um, and this is super, super, super common. Um, it is like it's super needed sometimes. Last night I had to choose at a workout I was looking at for myself. It's a little different than what you guys do, but it was the option that was the primary one, and I was like, nope, don't have time for that. Like the one beneath that, I was like, well, that's a little better. Like, that's the third option below that, which is like scaling it down, down, down. I was like, oh, I can do that one. I was like, if I push the pace on these things, that's still really hard. Like so I just dropped it. I was done in 24 minutes before dinner, and the kids were down there with me the whole time. And usually if I did it as written because I was stubborn, I wanted to make sure I checked the big box, do the best one, the most important one. I would have taken like 35 to 40 minutes to do that workout. It was a lot harder. Um, and it was very sufficient. I'm tired. Um, it was hard. It worked great. So that's one of the things. Just like condensing the time down. You can take um, we're gonna have a visitor join us. Okay. Did mommy send you in? Did mommy send you in here? Yeah. Do you want to say hi? No one's on the call. It's just daddy talking to the camera himself. Why? Why? Because no one wants to wake up at this early time, except for you and me and mommy. Is that right? Oh, you say hi? Yeah. Okay. Wait. What do you need? What's that? I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. You know what? I want you to grab your colored pencils, and then you can go color. Yep. Yep. You want some paper? No, I have it right here. Here. It is in there. We'll grab it from here too. Here. Okay, a couple sheets. Okay. Why don't you bring those with you? Okay. Because Daddy's busy right now, and I can't really have you in your colors. Okay. Yeah. Then you have to color quietly. Okay. And all that, this will probably backfire. So we'll see. Um, so condensing the time. That's where we're at. Um, so you guys know the time frame of these. You can look at that and probably surmise. I know I take that long for these movements if you're newer to this, or if you're experienced with these workouts, these movements. If you're not, a couple ways you can do it. Usually there's like 4 to 6 movements in a workout if it's not a heavy day. If it's not a heavy day, there's definitely 6 movements in a workout. Um, um, oh, I don't know what a sharpener is. I will sharpen them later. Okay. If it's in your room, you can't sharpen it right now. You gotta wait because Addie's sleeping. Okay. So why don't you just color the other ones? Okay. If I get you markers, I'm not gonna sharpen your pencils. Okay. Here's your markers. There you go. So you 6 movements in the workout. You could always treat that like it's not a heavy day. Supersets aside, single movements that by themselves aside, conditioning cycles aside. Um, yeah, it's not a heavy air conditioning day. It'll almost always be six-ish movements. Some of those conditioning is also have 5 to 6 movements, 4 to 6 movements. You could set a 10-minute timer and just go through those four to six movements as much as you can in 10 minutes. Take a load that's light, take a load that's or like light to medium, allows you to keep pushing the pace, keep moving. Just drop it down. Say, hey, I just did 2 rounds of this today. I did 1 round of this. I had only 10 minutes. 2 rounds of this, whatever, and that was it. And maybe it was written as 3 sets, and the loading the loading of the weights was supposed to be higher if you had the time, and you didn't. It's okay. You can watch it. So and that's still effective. Uh, for two things: one, you move your body; two, you kept the habit going; and three, like your muscles didn't receive zero benefit from that. So that's really, really important. So you can scale it down by time, or you can say, hey, I'm just going to do the first like 2 movements, and that's what I have time for today, and that's it. If you're kind of sitting in that 15-minute time window of, what do I do? I can do this, and sometimes with that, you might not even break much of a sweat. So, you can remove that chance that concern of showering afterwards. Depends on your personal hygiene habits, but they could be like, hey, you're really crunched for time. You might not get a huge, if you're doing that, how many rounds can you get through in 10, 15 minutes? That will be a little worse. That'll definitely be a little more of a sweat fest, but that's different. So, a little coffee there. So that's a good option as well. Because hey, reduce the time. Do do how much can you do in 10 to 15 minutes? Um, and or just and that could be, hey, I'm going to cycle through the whole thing. I'm going to cycle through it twice. I'm going to just do the first couple minutes, do the first 4 movements. So whatever sets they're written down, I'm going to do 2 sets of these things instead of 3. I'm going to do 2 sets instead of 4. Just you can play with that however you want to. When you're in that boat, I would way rather read and see and hear that you did something. If you really had the time, but your time crunch your time available just shrunk. It's like, okay, don't just throw it all out because it wasn't ideal. What's the less than ideal way to still make this happen? And that's where some of those options of just um, dropping the amount of time down, and also dropping the movements down, or dropping the rounds down, or the reps down, or the sets down. You can slide any of those levers. You guys are in charge of that in those moments. Once you're away from the ideal, then don't expect the ideal to happen. The full workout as written. You can just be some of it still is to that. And some of you guys, you're completionists, you're perfectionists. You got to do the exact thing as written, or it's like not. You kind of not doing that already failed. We're challenging you guys. We're stretching you. That's not true. Um, so um, that's that's a wrap. My daughter's up here trying to join the call here. Don't press those buttons. Um, so I'm trying to think of anything else. That's if your time window shrinks, you still have the availability to do it. Another thing we talked about, so the main thing we talked about were just, hey, looking each week, plan when you're gonna do it. 2, letting people around you know when your plan is to be active. 3, it is like how do you adapt the workout itself if you need to. Um, and then 4, always we're not doing glue sticks. No, no, no. You can do other. Just keep coloring. Okay, no glue sticks right now. Um, so that'd be 3. We'll just be dropping the time down and still doing some of it versus none of it. Those are probably the biggest tools I'd say in your toolkit. I'm trying to think of anything else. I'm distracted now. I'm trying to think of anything else where like, hey, this is a good strategy to modify. Besides loading, like reducing the loading of something. Let's just say you have weights and you're going to work out, but then time shrunk, and if you move a lighter weight, it'd be a little bit easier. That's a great one to slide down as well, for the time being. Or it's just say, hey, I'm only going to do this workout's a squat workout, and I'm just gonna do the set of squats. I can do 3, 4 sets of those as written. I'm gonna do the movement it's with. Let's just say it's not the superset day, but it makes sense for your timing to superset the first two movements. Very okay. You are in charge of this. I want you to know, as it's written is the ideal, and as it is, and as it is, and then back to that, like if we're already kind of throwing the original plan A out just based on what you're able to do, then like everything that you can still kind of modify. So yeah, I encourage you guys to not treat this as a if possible, what's best for you. If this like I said, if it is a week, like I just can't work out right now, um, and that's the best way to like kind of rest and relax and recharge in this time and that'd be stressful, do that. If you are someone who like finds it more peaceful or better to just kind of maintain activity and old habits stuff this time, it kind of helps you mentally, physically stay sane. That definitely is where I fall in this camp. Is like that's where I find myself, and then it's like, hey, make your plan, inform people around you to help make it happen, seek your needs in that scenario, and remember you can always modify these things if you need to kind of, and it's that same premise goes for literally any other time of the year. And if you're finding yourself constantly having to modify these workouts, I suggest maybe some other way of allotting more time to it. But modify as far as like condensing the way it's written or how intense you can push things. But like yeah, just treat it as a scenario to keep the ball rolling, and whatever it takes versus trying to do it the exact perfect ideal way it always works, because this is life. This is holiday life, holiday, Christmas, New Year's season. The next like 3 weeks are going to be very busy. Um, I guess the only last thing I could add is like have your plan A as far as time frame goes. Try to also seek a plan B or C. So have your ideal time to do this thing. Let's just say your early morning. Um, that's ideal. That doesn't happen for some reason. Okay, is there a time in a plan B? Holiday is much harder to probably make that happen. But could you find a plan B? Maybe it's just a different day. Maybe it's a different time of that day. It's like, hey, got a morning thing, but we're come back for that before lunch. We can do this. If you're a type of family, yeah, you don't need to be doing this. I would even, it's like, okay, we do family all day. Why would I sneak away and work out? I don't blame you. This is probably a fringe of the day and or beginning of the day opportunity at best. And that's where the morning really helps. So got a kid, got a dog coming in here. I'm gonna sign off. I will see you guys next week. Hopefully with less visitors in the room here. So all right, keep it up, guys. Oh, Ellie, you want to say bye? You say bye? You say bye? I say have a great day.